It's Friday, and we've some great stories to end your week here on Ag AM in Kansas. Here's what's coming up.
Today, Brian Holman visits with Chad at Premier Farm and Home about spring maintenance and management tips for your lawn. They'll be discussing when to mow for the first time and what settings to use, when to seed and aerate your yard, plus tips on early herbicide use. Then we meet Tom and Maria Sue Holmquist, one of K-State's master farm homemaker families. Learn how their story begins way back in 1868 when Tom's family homesteaded in Saline County.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by Premier Farm and Home. Stop by or visit us at haycow.com.
Good morning and welcome back to the show. We're out at Premier Farm and Home. We're joined by Chad. It's good to see you, Chad.
How you doing, Brian?
Good. Thanks for spending some time with us. We're starting to spend a little more time together now that spring has sprung, and right. You'll see Chad, I'm sure, if not every week, at least every other week, talking about things we need to do to take care of our yard. So it's springtime.
Yes.
Let's get started.
Okay, right out of the get-go, what I want to talk about today is just some spring maintenance and management considerations. So a lot of times the first question that comes up is, when am I going to mow this thing? Okay, do I mow it now? Do I mow it tomorrow? When does it go? What I usually recommend is that somewhere in the middle of March, you can even push it into April, but as soon as you start to see some nice green underneath, and we have a week of temperatures in the 70s, that's usually my indicator to go ahead and start mowing. And I would mow shorter this time of year than you would any other time of the year. And so if I'm a 3-inch guy, I might mow it at 2.5 or 2. If I'm a 4-inch guy, I might mow it at 3. And what that does, Brian, is that knocks off that old dead stuff that you see below, and you have fresh green growth, and you're mowing above that. So the quality of the lawn kind of picks up because you have that older desiccated material kind of below your canopy height.
Now, in the fall, I put down a nice fertilizer.
Right.
When will I start seeing some growth out of that, or is it growing already? You think?
That's the whole point of a winterizer, is you're gonna put nitrogen down to store in the plant to be used in the spring. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna see the benefits of that right away. As soon as it's been exposed, you're gonna see that heat up, and you're gonna see that extra growth come. Right away, Brian, right after you mow it. So, but
we needed some moisture to kind of melt it.
We did need some moisture, and we did get a little bit of that, thankfully, so I'm excited about that. Other management considerations, when we get into it, we also want to talk about seeding or core aerate and that sort of thing. I like to core aerate when my grass is growing the fastest. So when you have that point in the spring where you're mowing every other day, it seems like every other day, twice a week or whatever, that's when your yard can best recover from an aeration. And so if I've got compacted soils, that's when I want to do it. Now, if I'm seeding, I may want to do that now. I may want to come out, just got it all mowed short so I can get that good seed soil contact. We may want to go ahead and aerate earlier. You may damage the turf a little bit, but you've got all these seedlings coming up to replace it.
And because we talk about that every year, I ask you every year, when can we aerate? And I ran into a problem this year, and you helped me out. I seeded again in the fall like I do every year, and I ended up with some patches that were just not coming in, and I had really compacted soil. I had some mushrooms kind of coming up through that, and I'm sure some other people have that. And you had a good point. Just go out and stick a screwdriver kind of in the ground, loosen that soil up so it can get some moisture in.
Yeah, on a real small scale, that's a great way to do it. We've got a small area when we're dealing with Brian's yard, and a big area, if you go out there with the screwdriver, it may take a while. But that's an easy way to kind of tell, is my soil consistent? Is it hard? Is it compacted? And oxygen is the key to roots, and that's what we discovered, is that if we don't get any oxygen down to Brian's lawn, they just don't survive. It gets too hot in the summer right there next to the concrete, and no go.
No go.
No go.
Real quick, last 40 seconds we have here in this segment. Is this the time that we look at using spray-on chemicals, or should we put granules down?
Well, we'll talk about, if we're not seeding, then granular herbicides are going to be the way to go. If we are seeding, we need to be aware that the sprays that we use may have some effects with the seedlings that are out there. So just make sure you're always reading and following your labels if you can. If not, talk to somebody who sells it. They should know. But just moving into spring, be careful that just understand when I spray something what it's doing and what it's killing. That's the main thing.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with Chad at Premier Farm and Home. We'll see you in a minute.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
Early spring is the best time to plant many of the cool season garden vegetables for your dinner table, finishing in just 4 to 12 weeks. Plant homegrown cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, lettuce, and onion plants in your garden or container. Homegrown, hardy, and healthy plants are now available at Jackson's.
Use Fertilome Gardener Special Fertilizer for your garden, or Fertilome Blooming and Rooting Water Soluble for your containers for best production.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
This segment is brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. Just a short drive down the Yellow Brick Road.
Thanks for staying with us, Chad. Thanks for keeping us around. Do we need to slice in the spring like we do in the fall, or can we just mow short and drop?
I still recommend that you go ahead and slice. Anything you can do to get seed soil contact really helps with your seeding. You know, yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it gets out there, but it sure makes a nice yard once you get that seed soil contact.
Spring's time we always get the heaviest rain. We drop seed down. 2 days later we get a heavy rain.
Right.
How do we manage runoff? Seed runoff, or do we not manage that and just have to go out and kind of drop seeds by hand after that?
Brian, there's a couple different ways you can do it. The first thing is if you're dealing with bare soil or anything like that, we want to make sure that we cover that, whether we're putting a light bit of prairie hay over there or straw or something to that effect. That keeps those water droplets from just pounding the surface and creating the runoff. It kind of hits the straw first, then sinks in. If it gets real muddy,
it's like a drip hose.
Yeah, it's like a drip hose, and then it gets kind of tangled up in the soil, keeps the soil from moving. So cover if you want to keep things from eroding. If we have specific challenges or very steep things, they make those what I call roll-out deals. You know, they're
kind of green,
green or whatever. And you can use those as well. They would be for a highly erodible area. You can use Curlex as an option as well.
And I hate even talking about this because it's going to happen to us, unfortunately. Sure. We have another, unfortunately, brutal hot summer. Someone may be thinking about switching turf-type grass to a more warm weather grass, say a Bermuda or something like that. Good idea, bad idea?
It depends on what you personally can expect. You know, the drawbacks to the warm seasons is they are dormant in the spring and the fall, so we see brown when everyone else sees green. But you also see green when everyone else sees brown. So it is a trade-off. It's just part of the deal with that. The time for getting geared up or wanting to seed Bermuda or possibly sodding zoysia. There are a few seeded varieties of zoysia, but they're very difficult to establish. So zoysia or Bermuda becomes an option in that end of May, first part of June time frame. So it really has to warm up before we can consider those.
Zoysia grow like Bermuda does?
It does. It's pretty similar, not quite as aggressive. Brian, we always have them out here at the plots growing, so anybody who's interested could come look at them. But also most golf course fairways are zoysia. Okay. So if you've seen those in and around, that might help you indicate what zoysia is.
And you want your neighbor to not like you? Plant Bermuda.
Brian doesn't like Bermuda because he gets into the cool season all the time.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Years, so.
Is that something someone should come out and talk to you about? Because that's a big decision to make. I mean,
it's a little bigger decision than just, hey, I'm going to throw some seed out and see what happens, and I'll let them fight it out. You just all we ask is that you understand what's going to happen. So if you're okay with what happens, we're okay with what happens. But one thing I don't like is when people come in and they're like, man, my yard was dormant or brown for 2 months. I just can't take it. Those 2 months it was brown, July and August. Right. No go. I want Bermuda. So they say, okay, I want a warm season grass, and then it's brown for 8 months.
Right.
And you have to just kind of work them through that. Is that what you want?
And I can tell you from past experience, they don't live well together. So
no, they don't. They don't play nice.
They do not play nice. Either one's going to grow and the other one's not, or vice versa.
You're gonna have green and brown.
Right. And I had green and brown, so I look like a striped cheetah. So, okay, remind everybody, heycow.com.
Yep.
Test plots are up, and I'm sure they're looking good. So if you have any questions about your spring seed or anything like that, come out and see everybody at Premier Farm and Home.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
It's good to see you, Chad.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
I'm Dennis Tebow. My wife and I, Kathy, are the owners of Wolf Creek Cattle Company. We have grown to approximately 70 bulls.
I'm Reese Arnold. I'm the livestock manager at Wolf Creek Cattle Company. These are not just like normal cattle. These cattle, they're hauled anywhere from, 8 to 10 hours a day across the United States and asked to perform. The Multi-Man 90 keeps them kind of level. It maintains and balances their system. The stress level is less when everything's right and working right, then they're working right.
Golf Week calls it the best course you can play in Kansas. But once you play, you'll want to stay. Go for it. Firekeeper Golf Course at Prairie Band Casino and Resort is just north of Topeka off Highway 75. Our stay and play package is worth the trip. Luxury hotel room, green fees, and golf cart for two, starting at just $169.
Prairie Band Casino and Resort. Go for it!
Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by K-State Research and Extension. Knowledge for life.
The Holmquist family is deeply rooted in the farmlands of southern Saline County near the Salemsburg community, which now consists primarily of the historic church where Tom and Marla Sue Holmquist were married. That in and of itself a family tradition going back to the 1860s. Tom and Marla Sue's commitment to farming over the years has been complemented by their commitment to education. They were full-time at both for well over 30 years. The Holmquists have included their 3 children as part of their successful crops and cattle operation, 2 of which still have an active interest in agricultural production, aiming to make it a 5th generation of Holmquists farming on the place. You're very proud of the origin of this operation, and Tom, it extends way back in your family, homesteaded in the 1800s, right?
That's correct. My great-grandfather and his brother came out here from Illinois in 1868 and with the Galesburg Land Company, and they were among the very first to settle here in this part of Saline County. We've been farming here continuously ever since. I'm now the 4th generation, and my 2 sons are starting into the 5th generation of farming this piece of ground.
Marla Sue, you took a roundabout way of getting here, we might point out. You did actually grow up very early in Kansas, but spent most of your youth in California, actually.
I did. I was born in Westmoreland, and my father was superintendent of schools in Council Grove, and then when he got another job in Downey, California, in Southern California, then we moved out there, and that's where we lived, and I graduated from high school and then taught school and came back to Kansas after I joined the Peace Corps. My mother had retired in Lindsborg after my father's death and decided to leave my things at her house while I joined the Peace Corps and left the country. And Peace Corps assignment didn't come through, and so I took a job teaching just 1 year at Marquette Elementary School, 5th grade, and met this band teacher. And so a year later, we were married.
Tom, you're still teaching part-time. Marla Sue, you're teaching full-time at Bethany College. Making that activity mesh with farming and ranching operations, that can be difficult. How did you manage that?
Chose music as a major, and so that turned into a job at Marquette High School and middle school way back in those days, and just settled in and taught there for 35 years and farmed and continued to grow our operation, and finally 3 years ago was able to retire.
And Marla Sue, you did the same thing. In fact, you are still on the faculty at Bethany College. You chair the education department there, so you've got your hand in yet, very much so.
I do, and that also complements because we're close by, and Tom's mother and my mother were close by, and so children were in school in Lindsborg, so I had the opportunity to teach, but also be close by where the family was and help with those things. And then be on the farm when I needed to be with Tom, because my schedule is flexible on a college level.
Looking back on how the farm was as you grew up here, Tom, and what it's become present day, you've attempted to grow it steadily over the years. Is that your philosophy?
Yeah, we certainly have. We have started with a rather small operation. I started with 160 acres. The day I graduated college, I went to Farmers and Ranchers and bought my first calves. Experimented with crops along the way. We experimented with high heuristic rapeseed back in the early 80s and tried some different things and just tried to continue to grow to make this an operation that would be compatible with teaching, but yet always looking to expand and do the best job with conservation and the best job with profitability and all those things, and as time went on to make it more so that our sons could join the operation when the time came and continue this long-term legacy.
We've been using the Multimin on our donor cows, and after we started using it on them, we've seen a definite increase in grade #1 embryos. I like the results that I get using Multimin with the AI conception rate.
Their minerals not up to snuff, you're going to have problems, and I definitely think Multimin is good for, you know, general healthiness of the cattle.
We think Multimin more than pays for itself. Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas, or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel, or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, dressing Northeast Kansas their Western best for almost 60 years.
And now it's roughly 1,900 acres. A fair share of that is crop production. A good part of it is grass production. It's their typical crop mix, basically?
Pretty much so. We no-till farm, and so we're in a wheat, milo, soybean rotation. And then we also raise native grass, prairie hay, alfalfa, and brome hay, partly to feed our own cows and partly the high-quality hays to sell on a retail level.
While we're talking crops, you were also an early adopter of soybeans in this Saline County area.
Yeah, there was very few people that were trying soybeans. This is back around 1980, 1981, 1982, in that period, and thought we would kind of try some things, and soybeans was one of the things that we tried and found that we could be successful. And then other people quickly adopted that. I don't know if they were following my example or not.
Marla Sue, as the operation was growing over the years, your role in the operation, catch-all? Did you do anything and everything that you were asked to do, basically, or did you have specific assignments and responsibilities?
Well, Tom's father and I did a number of things in the mornings where we would get ground prepared for Tom, or I would do the swathing of the hay.
Well, if I could add to that.
Please do.
One of the things that I find most important about Marla Sue's contribution is coffee. It's an old Swedish tradition for 10 o'clock and 4 in the afternoon coffee. And you don't know how much we look forward to that and to be brought to the field for a little break from the work and some time to visit.
You two were 4-H parents for 21 years. The devotion's pretty clear there, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if it's a devotion, but it was because of the spacing of our children, and Ryan started when he was 7, and then John started when he was 7, and so it just kind of kept going. But it's been a remarkably wonderful program for us as a family.
Tom, your family has roots into this church locally going way, way back, right?
Yeah, we do. We have, my great-grandfather and great-grandmother were charter members of the church. They were not married at the time. They were actually the first wedding at Salemsburg way back in 1872. But they were both separately charter members of that church, and we have been members continuously ever since. And it's really been an important part of our community.
Let's talk more about the kids. And it's really ironic that at least the two that are out of college have basically followed a similar path to what you've followed in your lives, as they are educators, and the eldest is fully involved in the farm. The youngest is still in college, but may well be fully involved in the farm as well. Talk about Ryan, first of all.
Ryan has some acreage that he farms as well. He's a vocal music teacher and kind of followed his dad's footsteps in going into music. He has a passion for the farming as well.
And your daughter is a teacher likewise.
She's a teacher. She teaches 8th grade language arts in the middle school in Salina.
And again, your youngest is still a student at Bethany College, and with inclinations of perhaps farming likewise, right?
Yes, he is. He spent 2 years at K-State in animal science and took some ag econ classes, and has transferred to Bethany as finance and business. With the idea of being involved in commodities, and he's involved in livestock and in all facets of the operation.
It's evident, though, what the answer to this question is, but it means a great deal to the both of you that you will see another generation continue this operation, right?
We've thought about that, for years and years, how to make this family compatible so that we can work together. We often, especially when my dad was well, that we had 3 generations working here all the time and enjoying each other's company and just really liking being together. And that's maybe the best thing about farming, is that it's a family thing. We're out there working together and creating things and repairing things and just building a life together.
Last thing, what it means to the both of you to be recognized as Master Farmer, Master Farm Homemaker upon you finding out that this recognition was coming your way.
It's a real honor to have this designation for us. and an honor in the recognition of the fact that this is a long-term operation. I mean, I'm the newbie here with the length of time of being at the farm, but it's really a tremendous honor for us.
And not just for us, but for our family, both those that are coming behind us and those that have gone before, that we could be recognized as this master farmer and homemaker. We're just really pleased and humbled by this, and think, well, maybe we have done okay.
Richly deserved, and hearty congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tom and Marla Sue Holmquist, Kansas Master Farmer, Master Farm Homemaker, Class of 2012.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
We hope you've enjoyed today's program. We're here every morning, Monday through Friday. If you missed part of today's broadcast, you can see it on agaminkansas.com. Eric Atkinson here from K-State Research and Extension.